Hi friends. No together run, no together walk, but I'm going to try something completely different today, and I'm going to do a together sit by, as you can likely hear, a waterfall. Oops, I just scraped my leg. A waterfall I've never even knew existed in Forest Park in St. Louis. And there's a reason for that. I'll explain that in a minute. But first, hopefully you can hear me okay over the sound of that. But first, this is not going to be something to use for your run. This is just for you to listen to at some point during your day. And just a together sit. A together check-in, whatever you want to call it. Alright, first I want you to connect with some element of nature. I kind of have to put my hand in the waterfall, don't I? Yep. Alright, I'm going to do that. Oh, it feels good. That's like perfect temperature. Alright. Touch some element of nature. Ground yourself with some element of nature. Where you're sitting. Where you're standing. Well, where you're sitting. Where you are doing things. If you are busy doing things, take this moment to ground yourself by recognizing that even if you're in a house, even if you're on cement, the ground, Mother Earth, our planet, is underneath. So you're still connected. Okay, so I don't need to say, are we ready, off we go? Because we're not going anywhere. Unless you'll probably be doing things, which is fine. But I invite you to maybe sit with me for a minute. I can't promise, but this episode, this whatever this is, check-in, is going to be quite raw on my end. And yeah. So I'd love if you would sit with me and let yourself process whatever's going on in your life too. So first, as we always do, we are going to begin with a body scan. We're going to start at the top of our heads. I'm going to call out various parts of our body and we're going to work our way down. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And another one. And I ask you to start doing a body scan. So starting at the top of your head, working your way down, going down to the top of your head, going into your eyes, making sure nothing is squinted, you're not scrunching. You're going down through your nose, into your mouth, round the back of your head. Going down into the back of the neck, round to the front of the neck, going into your shoulders and the tops of your arms, the lower part of your arms, the forearms, going into your wrists, your palms, the tops of your hands, and finally into your fingers. Coming back to your torso and going into the main part of your body, through your chest, through your stomach, hips and pelvis. Checking in with your quads, your hamstrings, going into your knee, into the back of your knee, your calf and shin, going into your ankle, inner ankle, outer ankle, and into your heel, into the arch of your foot, the top of your foot, and finally into your toes. How is everything feeling? For me, the biggest thing that jumps out is I still have some throbbing in my palms. I'll tell you about that in a minute. That was the biggest thing that jumped out. Now, I think I'm going to begin with the mental health check-in. I invite you to do the senses check-in on your own. Maybe we'll do that in a minute and just pick one thing of each that we feel. Maybe let's do that now. Okay. So starting with taste. What do you taste? For me, I don't really taste much. Kind of nothing. What do you smell? I smell pond. If you want to take your headphones out, go ahead and do it. If you want to just listen to my end, go ahead and do that. What do you hear? Just pick one thing. For me, I definitely hear the waterfall. Going into sense of touch, what is it that you feel? Where's your awareness going to within your body? For me, my attention is definitely on my knee right now. It feels tickly. A bug keeps trying to land on it, so don't know whether to just embrace that or to let it, or to keep flicking it off. Okay, and finally your sense of sight. Just pick one thing. For me, I see just nature that's allowed to grow as it likes. I'm on this strange little waterfall with steps on one side and then just nature on the other side. As I said, I've never noticed this before, but yeah, I'm just looking at nature, plants, trees. Okay, thank you so much. Next, we're going to go through a bit of a mental health check-in. I'm going to talk a bit first because I know I've been kind of rushing through these things, but I want to ask you to start thinking in your own mind about how are you really. The reason I want to go through mine first is, honestly, friends, I'm having a tough day, and I don't really know why. There's so much to be grateful for and thankful for. Even in this moment, as I do this to you right now, I am speaking to you right now. I know that you're listening to this. You're here, you care about me. I know that I'm sitting surrounded by nature, that thing I love so much, that grounds me, that feels good. There's so much beauty in this world. It's a nice day. I have 2 amazing kids and a husband who has just gone so far above and beyond this week. It's not even funny. Like, he has done so much to support me this week and every other week, but particularly this week. And yet, I feel fed up. I felt down all day long, and I can't seem to pick myself up. If you don't already know, and I've alluded to it, I do have some bad scrapes on my knees and my hands. I fell badly in the trails last week, and I haven't run since, and that was 6 days ago. My hands are definitely shredded up, which has made this week very difficult. If you imagine not using your palms for anything, they cut back open very easily. So if I overdo it, they rip back open, and then it's a day or 2 before they close up again. And I suspect that's part of it, that I have felt a bit useless this week. I haven't really been able to help Steve with much. Everything I've had to do has required 7 extra steps, and I just have felt, I guess I've had to rest. I haven't really rested though in the traditional sense, but I've had to not do things, and I have used it to do other things like phone calls and catching up with people, but I have felt a bit like a burden, I suppose, which I don't like. And then secondly, beyond that, to be honest, this is so hard because I know it's so insensitive for someone who maybe has always wanted kids, or has had trouble with has had pregnancy loss, has had miscarriages, has had a hard time. But I'm really struggling right now with just we don't have family nearby. We have babysitters and they are amazing and we're so appreciative, but I just feel sometimes it would be easier if I just worked a 9 to 5 job that just required me to be at home. And I know in me I would still have that sense of wanderlust, but it just feels like the work that I do is just not conducive to young children, especially when Steve is gone a lot of weekends throughout the year for his work. And I just feel frustrated with having to... There's so many loops and steps involved with kids, and rightly so. They're your most precious thing in your life. And mine are still young, so they're not ready to be around just anyone, nor would I, it's kind of something I wouldn't want to do. But sometimes it just feels easier to not do anything than to keep trying so hard to try and... I don't even know what to say. Right now, honestly, I'm having the urge to just hit stop and not publicly share this. Maybe I won't. But it's just hard. And I love my kids so much and I love the time with them. But I also feel like there's a part of me that needs to be myself, and I haven't been taking care of that part very much lately. And maybe it's not running, maybe this not running this week is affecting me more than I think, or not doing anything. I haven't really even been motivated to go out and walk. The only times, I don't have an excuse. I could have gone out to walk. Pushing the stroller is really hard, so, I should have just used it during one of my free times, but I haven't. And yeah, I don't really know what to say. I just feel fed up. And I'm sure by the time I publish this, by the time I share this, if I share this, I'll be in a different mood. And when you reach out to me and say, I am here for you, I understand, I'll be like, what are you talking about? I don't feel like that anymore. That was just one day. And maybe it is. But I also hope that this gives you permission to recognize that you have an unmet need in something, even if you don't know what it is, and to just be okay with that, because that's where I feel right now. Okay, so I'd love to ask you, how are you? Really? Even if you're busy doing things, just take this time, okay? Nothing else, to just sit still. Just sit with me and think, how are you? Really? You feel that urge to get doing something, just stop. You can do this. How are you, really? Last few seconds. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that, for sitting down. I'd love to see a photo of what you were up to right now, or what you look like. Doesn't matter where you are. I'll take a little video while I'm sitting here. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the kind words I already know you're going to say. I don't know what that cheering noise is. Apparently there's like these golf people, but I don't know what's going on. But thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for being a part of the community. I appreciate you.